Here.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
Let us pray. Holy God, thank you for your protection and your care. Thank you for your guiding presence as we come together to discern matters for our common life. We ask your blessing, Lord, on our city, our citizens, our civic and religious leaders, and especially our council members. Sustain them in faithful service for our world. Equip them and us with wisdom, patience, and deep listening and imagination. Lord, may your Spirit surround us here tonight. We pray all of this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you very much. Councilman White, please play.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In your packet, you have the minutes from the June 13th meeting. We have a motion to approve those minutes. So, Rick, we have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a second. Any changes, discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Committee reports and department reports. Do we have anything for the committees that we need to discuss?
Not at this time.
At this time? All right. Chief, would you please?
I'm sorry the time you full meeting.
I understand.
This past Sunday, when the storm moved through, our radio tower, we believe got struck a lot. We're having issues on the radio, it's losing service intermittently. We've had a repairman down there, come, tester, come look at it Thursday, take it out to replace it, see if that caused the problem. We're going to take the old one back. He said it's been struck a lot, but if it's just plainly quit. If it's just plainly quit, it's covered under warranty. It's good. But if it got struck a lot, then we're going to turn that in on the insurance. Or it's up to $5,000. It's going to cost about $6,500. So, again, that's what the finance committee think about. And as soon as I find out the number, I'll let you know. So they tell me what's going on with that radio. I'll let you know.
Do you have a date? Do you think you'll have an answer for the radio?
Hopefully Thursday or Friday, I'll know.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nothing, Mayor.
Report. Chief.
Mayor, City Council, two things real quick. We have set a hearing date, July the 20th, here at City Hall at 6 p.m. for the Billionaires Funding Group and also Main Street Ventures LLC for the dilapidated building, an unsecured structure located at 1301 St. Francis Street, formerly River Hospital. So that's the date was set again, July 20th at 6 p.m. in the City Council chambers. These letters will be released now tomorrow. The only other thing we have, I'm going to have Assistant Chief Officer come and talk to you. We discussed the medical billing. I'm going to have him come up and address that.
On the same subject, just so the council and the public knows, at this moment, we are taking care of the entire, or the outside of the property. Of course, we're putting it into a lien, but the chances of getting money from that is slim to none. There's still a chance. But I just want the council to know that the Mo Crew has been taking care of the property. No one else has, except for us. The boarding up the property is going to be an expense, but it's for the sake of someone getting pulled in there and something bad happening, I feel like it's needed. At least to look to investigate. Chief, you have.
Mayor and Council, the question that was asked last, the question about the medical billing for the fire department that was raised last meeting. So I talked to our current billing provider, which is Fire Recovery USA. They let us know that since we have a non-transport license to be able to operate for advanced life support, we're unable to bill for Medicare and Medicaid, which accounts for roughly 90% of what we run on. And then they also advise that we are able to bill private insurance companies, and which through them, we are able to. But they said that unless we pass a city ordinance, because our run volume's not there, they recommend if we start doing the private insurance, we need to have around 40% of our run volume to be private insurance to make up that difference of the cost that they charge.
Do you have an idea where our run volume might be?
Around 90% is Medicare and Medicaid, and about 10% is private insurance, so.
Well,
Yes, sir.
do we have any more questions? That goes back to the discussion you brought up to council.
Mr. Mayor, before we
Yes,
get
sir.
unfinished business, I'll make a statement.
Yes, please.
Last week, we talked about there weren't any cuts with the new budget, but they were cuts. We cut part-time firemen down to volunteer firemen. We cut officers' pay down. We cut humane pay by 10%. So I just kind of want to throw that out there, that we did make cuts. And I have one more thing. When you sit in these meetings, it's been said numerous times that department heads can't make a work order replacement. I find that as being insulting, that we make that comment towards the department heads that are trying to make this budget work. That's all.
Mr. Mayor, if I could,
Yes, sir.
as long as he brought that up, we did have an employee retire, Keith Tucker, after 30-plus years, that we dropped his position. So we didn't really lay one off, but we cut another position to make those cuts. So that'll be one position we won't be filling in these cuts.
And same here, Mr. Mayor, if I could, just 1 second. Just so everyone will know, we had one to retire as well, to keep from laying some off. And that was Captain River.
All right. Animal control. Nothing? Yep. Yes.
Another thing, okay. Fire department was cut $450,000. Okay. And then they were turned around and told again to cut 20%. That's a lot of money. Another thing they were told was that, like you said, if they didn't make the cuts, they'd find somebody that would. Well, I mean, that's not fair to them. You know, we can't expect these firefighters to go out there, fight these fires for nothing. I mean, we just can't do that and keep some of the stuff we're keeping. You know, I was a firefighter one time, and I know exactly what they go through. And a lot of people that wasn't on the fire service have no clue. Randy knows what they've been through. He's been on the fire department. And, I mean, things can happen just within seconds. And it's just, it's not fair to our citizens. It's not fair to the firefighters. It's not fair to us. You know, we can change this somehow. There's things we can do to keep these guys from doing it for completely nothing. If they have full-time jobs, they get out there and get hurt on a fire scene, their company's not going to pay them for being off. I mean, they're volunteers, so are we going to pay them for being off? No. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that we need to look at as a committee. You know, and things can happen, just like I said, so fast. And I have seen it happen so fast. And, I mean, it's just, you know, I just think that we need to do some other things besides just leaving them up there high and dry. But what I got to say, I mean, I just don't think it's fair.
Anything else on committee reports?
I talked to Jay today, and he does not wish to resign. He wants to continue. He's had, him and his wife have had a round of COVID. He's also had some other health issues. He said his intent is to get back to this. So that's what it's right now. I'll recommend Jay.
All right, thank you all. I guess that kind of led into unfinished business. Anything else for unfinished business? All right, we'll move on to new business. A little typo in the agenda. not the approval of the airport nominees, it's just the name submission to the council for their consideration to voting for the next meeting. But there is on item B, approve park board nominee, which is Dustin Pritchett. His name was submitted to the previous meeting. We have a motion. We have a second. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Mayor's report. We offered to, along with Mr. Tucker, or Mr. Westfield, is to go over the boat crew expense. And he submitted, I got information from the clerk's office on salaries, and I've got the old pay rates. What it looks like it comes out to be is $57 an hour. That's $36 an hour for the manpower, $21 an hour for the labor, for the equipment. I still recommend $100 an hour per person. So there's 2 on the crew, that's $200 an hour with 1 hour minimum.
With this mowing unattended yards.
Yes, mowing the unattended yards. So if you like that number, if you got any questions on it, I'd be more than happy to answer it. Have a motion, please.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Second.
A motion, we have a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Also, we have a compost fee. Again, got information provided. We have a schedule of 2 composts. All right. Yes, it's just submitting a name right now. And so we have current charges, and then we've got charges that we had previously, and I don't know what year we had the first charges that we changed a year or 2 ago, maybe. You all changed it?
Yeah, Mayor, I don't know if there are 2 or 3 of those there. We had one when we first started out, and then we had one where we changed it, and then we changed it a while back.
Okay.
And I don't know if I gave you all 3 of them or just 2 of them.
Well, I'm just going to give you an update, not asking for a motion this evening, but I'm looking at increasing the compost fees, the tipping fees, but also making an out-of-town adjustment to the fees, where there's about a 50% increase for out-of-town loading. But I'll present that to the council in the next meeting. But just want to let you know that this is being worked on. As for the compost and the roll-off.
Mayor, do we currently take out of town stuff? I didn't think we did.
We sell out-of-town.
Do what now?
We sell.
Oh, you're
loads
talking about
out-of-town.
for the compost?
Yes, compost, not roll-off. Compost. I might have said roll-off, but I meant compost.
Okay.
And then the roll-off dumpster fees, we're going to adjust those also. We all have a copy of that next meeting to approve or make changes to. Okay. At this time, public comments. Anyone here tonight wish to speak to council? Please state your name and address, please.
You want to leave it after 10 minutes, sorry. Mayor, council, citizens, Kennett, good evening. My name is Mark Dennis. I reside in Ward 4. I am here as a very concerned citizen, not as a city employee. Although at least until July 1st, I might be. With that, I'm a very concerned citizen with a little extra knowledge that most don't have. First and foremost, I want to express my sincere appreciation to each of you up here, as well as the department heads at the tables beside me. You all have unfortunately been placed, some of you have all unfortunately been placed in a very precarious situation, and at no fault of your own. But the effort you have put in will ultimately be part of your legacy left behind on the city. Again, your service and attentiveness is very much appreciated, especially now. Before I get too far, I would like to formally announce that effective immediately, I will be no longer be serving the citizens of Kennett as a police officer. Something that since I was a kid, I never dreamed of be standing here saying. But here I am. There are multiple reasons for this, but mainly for tonight anyway, since I've only worked one shift since December 26, 2019. Again, there are multiple reasons, however, none of that needs to be brought up tonight. There are more important issues in it. With that being said, I spoke with Chief Wilson Friday. With his blessing and approval, I'd like to formally request on behalf of my family, myself, that my father's badge number be placed back in retirement. He was originally retired in 1978, 1979, I'm not sure which. And never be used again.
Sure, we can entertain that.
We make a motion now.
I think you could, yes.
I make a motion to
I
retire
second.
that badge number.
I'm sorry, Chief, are we okay with that?
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
I'd like to see it retired too.
Yes.
Back, but I wanted to be sure.
I make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. Now that that's taken care of. As it's been alluded to already, and thank you, the budget that you all unanimously voted in last week, most of us are now aware of what it really entailed for our fire department. Everyone in this room was point blank told that with the passing of the new budget, there were no job cuts. It's now my understanding, Mayor, you as well as much of the council might have been misled. We can and we all should agree, there's cuts that needed to be made to save our city. No one disagrees with that. However, I feel extremely confident that it will be relatively easy to find somewhere, something within the city to temporarily cut until we can regain our funding. And that would not place our citizens' lives or properties or our full-time fire staff in such danger. It's my understanding that approximately $48,000 is what was cut, which in turn defunded our part-time firefighters. With that being said, I would ask, honestly beg, that you please, while there is still time, please reconsider what the budget has done now and what it will do to our city's fire department if left in place. On June 14th, the Wednesday after the council meeting, fire administration called 2 different emergency meetings during which we, the employees, were made aware of what really happened. Effective July 1st, some employees received pay cuts. Sucks. We can survive. Temporarily. Then the 2 bombshells, in my opinion, were announced. Again, we were told no job cuts. However, there's one active full-time position eliminated. With that, Captain Monroe fell on the sword for his guys. He decided to retire early, so no one else would lose their job. and we revised that there be no longer be a portion, or a part-time portion of our fire department. Those of us choosing to stay on would have to do it on a volunteer basis. With the current roster, and I know it's not exactly accurate, but the last current roster that was posted at Station 3, with Captain Monroe, that's a total of 19 job cuts. I'm guesstimating it now somewhere around 14, 15. But I'm not sure.
I could look it up real quick.
I had formally requested copies of each individual department's budget for the 22-23 and 23-24 years, as well as this year's committee meeting minutes in which budget was discussed. However, thus far, and I know, Brenda, we talked about it a while ago, but this far, I haven't received those. But it's my understanding that no other department in the city took this much of a blow. And essentially will be able to operate as normal. Unlike the police department, who obviously does not rely on their part-time employees, the fire department does. I've spoken with a couple of department heads who have stated that they were told directly by a council member that if they cannot effectively run their departments with the new budget, they will be removed. Obviously, Chief Davis has been set up for failure. There is absolutely no way, from the guidelines he was given by this council, to safely and effectively or efficiently run any fire department by anybody. Especially when the current budget was already cut prior to his administration. What does this mean for our city? It means the Kennett Fire Department will, at a bare minimum, be a defensive-only fire department. There would not be enough manpower to make interior fire attacks, anyway. Even on a simple residential structure. Now let's add in your family, your children, trapped inside that house. Sorry, we can't go get your burner baby. We'll be over here squirting water on the neighbor's house. Hopefully it won't catch fire too. Our department's already been operating shorthanded as it is. I've been to multiple fires, several of us have been to multiple fires in the past several months where there's more fire explorers than full-time fire personnel. There's been more fire explorers than firefighters, period. Of our full-time staff, you can depend on the two drivers, the engineers that are driving the two trucks. Most of the time, Fire Marshal Hamlet, Chief Davis, sometimes Chief Roberts, when his wife's not working shift and he's at home, or yeah, when she's working shift, he's at home with the kids, so he can. Maybe one or two other, or essentially maybe two other full-time personnel you could pretty much count on to be there, one of which was Captain Monroe. Now he's gone. This leaves your part-time staff as your main firefighters actually making those fire attacks, actually making those entries to rescue trapped victims. Without them, God forbid a child gets trapped in a fire. Now I'll ask this. I know at least two of you have experience in fire service. But do any of you wake up during the night smelling the smell of burnt flesh? Wake up hearing the screams of those victims crying out for help? Roll over in your own bed and seeing visions of those victims laying there looking at you. When you come to help them. We smell those smells. We see those visions. We'll relive these things for the rest of our lives. We also live with the guilt of sometimes not making it there in time. Fact is, yes, these things are just part of the job. But these are the things that you are now asking and expecting your employees and those who might join when we're gone to live with for free. Then what happens, Councilman Gaddis alluded to a while ago, what happens when we get hurt working that fire for free? We will now receive a total of $30 a month to live off of from workers' comp. They pay hospital bills, but many of you up there live $30 a month when you're missing your full-time job because you decided to be a volunteer firefighter for the city council. ISO, that big scary abbreviation that we heard so much about a few months back when dealing with water hydrants and other issues. Absolutely, congratulations, we got that fixed. You all got that fixed. Unfortunately, good luck keeping it that way, because with those manpower cuts within your fire department, the training budget cuts within the fire department, I fully suspect that we, the citizens, will more than likely face an even bigger increase in ISO ratings than before, possibly, due to the lack of fire department employees and the lack of training hours again for your fire department. Which in time, for the people that are aware, will cause the citizens' insurance rates to skyrocket yet again. Not a popular topic, but just for the record, if you cut out the person that was hired last council meeting to take out the trash for City Hall and Police Department, that they were too busy to do themselves, that alone could have paid for 2 Justin Harrises. Actually over 2, if I remember right, it's like 2.4 Justin Harrises. Which sometimes is kind of scary. However, Justin last year brought home a total of $3,500 a year from the city of Kennett. Justin's what I call a grinder. He's one of those guys, if he's off from his main job, shows up every fire, bust his butt. From the time he goes in to the time he goes out, he don't just stand around, works his butt off. $3,500 a year is what he was paid. Well, we're going to pay someone $9,300 to take out trash. I don't like pointing fingers most of the time, but I feel the need to mention, since this is such a crucial safety issue for our city. Your fire department responded to a medical call to this building within this past week. While here, there's a Kennett police officer with his feet propped up on the dispatch desk in front of that huge window where all these citizens come in, sound asleep. But he don't have time to take trash out. I'll go back up. Also, a couple years ago, when employees were given an opportunity for a raise, your fire department turned down those raises for equipment, which was needed. Those raises, I would educated guess assume, would have ultimately been a whole lot more money years down the road than what that equipment was. The police department did not. They accepted those raises. Can't blame them. More power to them. The police department was also told, however, that if there was any